Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the College Football Show on the Sports Talkline Network, where we talk sport 24/7, 365. All right, guys, let's get started with some news this week. Now, we've had our first official coach getting sacked this year, and now Will Muschamp from South Carolina Gamecocks has been fired. He spent a lot of time in the SEC. He was with the team. He was with the SEC for about four or five different teams over the last 15 or so years. He was defensive coordinator first. They play a very defensive style of football. This year they are 12th out of 14 in the SEC teams in terms of defense. They are terrible. Their last three games they've lost by a combined 160 points in total. It's bad. The writing was on the wall for a long time. They paid him out $13 million, even though we're in a COVID year. Van, is that a ridiculous amount of money to pay out someone?
And it not only is it a ridiculous amount of money, what happened here is it's not the three losses. It's the size of the losses, man. I mean, the disparity there is off the charts. And I don't blame South Carolina at all for this.
Yeah, look, I think this had to happen. I just thought there wouldn't be too many coaches fired when there's not a lot of revenue coming into schools this year. So I think there's been a big donation from someone who wanted him gone. So thank you to that man. And I'm sure he's extremely happy at the moment.
Golf clap.
Yeah, golf clap. Okay. Nice. We'll touch on the golf after, so thank you.
I was working that in, yeah.
And secondly, the Michigan Wolverines went down again, 49-11 to Wisconsin. This was Wisconsin's only their second game back. Jim Harbaugh is in big trouble here. We've been saying it for a few weeks now. They're now 1-3. They lost by 38 on the weekend. That's their biggest home loss since 1935. It's been a long time coming. Harbaugh is an institution out there. He's done some wonderful things, but he's also done some really terrible things the last season or two. He's probably going to be the next coach sacked, but I don't think that happens this year. So, good luck.
Yeah. You know, all I can say is, with the Harbaugh brothers, I think it's pretty obvious which one is the favorite son. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one gets the bigger piece of, on turkey, he gets, yeah. All right. It's not this guy. All right.
Not this guy at all. Utah State have, Utah State. This is a good story. Utah, just over a week after Utah State fired head coach Gary Anderson, they've also let their quarterback go as well for undisclosed reasons. His name is Jason Shelley. Now, Shelley just transferred in from Utah this season, so he's only been there for 4 games. Not doing too badly. Something has obviously gone on behind the scenes that we don't know about as yet. Van, I know you've got some.
We got some breaking news here. Something about it turns out he was night putting on the green with the dean's daughter. Undisclosed reasons. Come on, what was going down there. All right.
Now, talking about the Heisman Trophy, guys. The Heisman is going to be presented on the 5th of January next year. The finalists are announced on the 24th of December, just before Christmas. There's probably going to be 3 again this year. We kind of know who those 3 will be. We're thinking Trevor Lawrence, maybe Kyle Trask, and Justin Fields, maybe those 3. There could be a Smokey in there somewhere, but maybe those 3. So those 3 we'll find out. It'll be all online like 2020 has been for everyone. Expect it to be a star-studded affair. There'll be heaps of old Heisman winners at home in their houses, so it should be good to see. It's always a good time of the year. Ben?
I just wanted to add, there's going to be a ton of former Heisman Trophy winners, as you were mentioning, that are going to be gracing the screen, I think are your words. And with that in mind, not only for the people that want to comment below, who's the former Heisman Trophy winner you want to see on the broadcast, and you specifically?
That's
Johnny a tough
Manziel.
one.
Probably Johnny Manziel. OJ.
All right.
OJ works too.
Just throw one out there. Okay.
Why not?
I'll be curious to see if people have a preference in the comments. That's pretty interesting.
And look, some of you may I'm a big golf fan as well. So when on the weekend, when two of my loves, college football and the Masters, came together, it was fantastic. College GameDay hosted their show from Augusta, and it was impressive to watch. The big table was there on the field. On the oval. It was just nice to see. Picturesque scenes there, all the hills and the trees. It was just magical to watch. Not as much football action as you would have thought, with the golf having been delayed from the second day over into the third day. So hopefully college GameDay keeps going back there once a year. Maybe that'd be nice. That's pretty special. That's a great area. I actually lived there for a little while in Augusta. James Brown Town. So, I mean, there's a lot going on there, man. They got the Augusta National, which is all highbrow and, yes. Past it's very fancy.
Yeah, and then right down there, they got the whipping post, and James Brown, you're just driving it. So it's a pretty wild town, man. I'm telling you. And it is beautiful. It totally is.
All right, guys, let's touch on the best games of the week just gone. Week 11 in college football. We're almost there. There's only a few games left for most of these teams. Their season's already over, but some of these teams, their season has just started. UCLA had a game against the Cal Bears on Sunday over in the US. It was Cal Bears' first game of the season. Shout out to friend of the show, Jameson Sheehan, the Aussie punter. Mate, you were fantastic. Your team was not. Cal had their season postponed for about 6 weeks due to COVID. They then had their first game of the season postponed. The second game moved back and forth a few times and ended up being the last game of the weekend while the NFL games were actually going on. And so it was not a good sign for them. They went down 34-10. UCLA looked strong. Their quarterbacks are looking strong each week. They're sort of chopping and changing a bit there with that. These guys will be lucky to have 3 games. I think the Cal game this weekend is already off due to COVID as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cal just played 2 or 3 games. The Pac-12 seems to be in a bad spot.
Yeah, I just got to give a quick shout out to my wife, Caitlin Vanover, who's a UCLA grad. Yo.
Very nice. Happy with the win. So I think either the Pac-12 should have potentially started their season earlier, like everyone else, or not had a season at all. This chopping and changing kind of doesn't really help anyone at all. So hopefully they get some act together and we can get a few more games in, or we just can it all together. So, and in other news, one of the first games of the weekend, I think this game was on Friday night. The Hurricanes got very lucky against Virginia Tech here. They ended up winning 25-24. They continued to win games, but they win ugly. They're 7-1 now. I think they're ranked just outside the top 10. We'll have to check on that. But they continue to win these games, but they're not smashing anyone. The team they should be all over everyone. Van, are they just hanging on?
Well, it's not the college way. In college, strangely enough, winning ugly works in the NFL. In college, you have to win big.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I understand for some teams like the LSU Tigers, teams that are under 500, their season's kind of over. So I understand why they want to go out on the weekends and party, and they're all end up getting sick and they don't want to try and turn up to training, and they're not trying as hard as they usually would if their season's already over. But teams like this, they're 7-1 and they can't get past these average teams. I don't think they're as strong as I thought they were.
It's amazing. They should have totally been able to handle Virginia Tech. Again, you can win ugly in the NFL and it doesn't matter because it's your record. That's all that matters. And then you can turn it on later. That's good. But in college, man, there's a poll and you're rated by the poll.
Yeah,
so you've got to put some points on the board. When you get right down to it, you've got to have some dominant game.
Now, speaking about teams that can't win games, friend of the show, Nate Dowdy, is from Penn State. So Nate, shout out, mate. You guys are now 0-4. So if you're watching, dude, I'm sorry. You're 0-4 now. You went down to Nebraska on the weekend. It's been a long time since Penn State had been 0-4. I think there was a few issues they had in the late 80s, early 90s there, which which was the last time they were 0-4. So with any luck, the Penn State can turn it around. It's been a bit ordinary out there for them. So last two games we want to touch on from last weekend are two of the biggest games so far. Notre Dame got a lucky win over Boston College. Boston College was strong throughout this game. Notre Dame's quarterback, seems like this kid's come from nowhere, but he's also been around for 3 years now, and his winning percentage is over 90. The kid's only lost 2 games in 3 years. This kid is unreal. He finds targets all the time. The Irish got the lucky win against the Tigers last week that everyone saw. They rushed the field. This could have been a danger game for them, but they've come out and managed to win when they should. And I think that I don't want to say it, but they're definitely going to the ACC championship game, but they could be going even further. Dan, how do you feel, mate? Please.
Well, I have so much empathy right now for a good friend of mine. Her name is Betsy Bonomo. She was an Olympic diver back in the 60s. And yes, I am dating myself, all right. Okay. And she actually graduated from the University of West Virginia. But them winning, losing every week wasn't the big deal. What she wanted was for Notre Dame to lose. She wanted them to lose, man. I mean, just like, screw Rudy. Okay, yeah, she didn't want nothing to do with that. And so I feel sorry for her because this Notre Dame team, it looks for real.
Yeah, I think obviously coming up against the Tigers in the ACC championship game will be tough. They've already done it once. I know they had a different guy under center, but I think they're potentially going to be as strong as they were all year, and this could be their year. I know there's a lot of good teams around there, but this could be their year. That's all I'm going to say about them because I really, really don't like them. So let's move on.
You and Betsy would get along well. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, the final game from last weekend, the Florida Gators are who we thought they were. They are fantastic. They smoked Arkansas 63-35. I believe after the first quarter, it was 7-all, and Arkansas fans were cheering because they thought they had won. They'd won it all. Now, Arkansas actually has the second best pass defense in the SEC, and Kyle Trask scored 6 touchdowns on them in just over a half of football, and then was taken off the field because he didn't need to be there anymore.
That's feeling it, man. That's feeling it. I mean, I've got some questions I want to ask you about this game, but I'm going to save it for when we get to the top 25 because that's really why I came, is the top 25.
A little bit more on Kyle Trask here. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes in this game alone. So in just over about 35 minutes, I think. Tennessee, as a team, have thrown 6 touchdown passes all year. So it's taken them 6 games to throw 6 passes. He did that in just over a half.
That's what happened to the defense then. They couldn't count that high, and it was just like, what? How many is that? I don't know. I don't know.
And he did this. He did all this without his number 1 tight end in Kyle Pitts, who's been out with a concussion. Could be out again this week, so we'll see what happens with him. Kyle Trask is on target to break Joe Burrow's records from last season. He's that strong. I wouldn't be surprised if this kid wins the Heisman. Hasn't really come from nowhere, but he's been on the radar for a long time. He's just having a fantastic season. So Kyle Trask and the Gators, you guys will be there in the SEC championship game. If you beat Bama, you go into that Final Four. It's that simple now. So there it is. All right, let's talk AP Top 25. We love doing this segment every week. New AP 25 drops every Monday night, roughly the time of the NFL games on. So it's well worth having a look. Jump onto Spinksy CFB on Twitter, and usually I've got it up there straight away. So have a look. So Van, let's run through this top 25, mate, or at least the first 5 or 6.
Yeah, I actually have a question I want to ask you about 5 of the top 6, and I'd really like to get your feedback. And let's start with number 1 up there, Alabama. I'd like to ask you, like, they basically got 2 bye weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And we saw how bad California was prepared to play after this being the first game of the season. They had a lot of rust.
Yeah.
So Alabama's been playing fantastic. but 2 weeks off in a row like that, I mean, is that good, bad, or is it not going to matter?
Yeah, they've got a game up against Kentucky this weekend, which is no sort of easy win. I think probably having a week off helped them. Their other game was against the LSU Tigers, and they were probably going to smoke them anyway, so it probably wouldn't matter to Alabama too much. I think a team like LSU, who if they had 2 weeks off through last year, I think that would have hurt them. But Alabama being as strong as they are, I don't think there'll be an issue with them. I think their biggest test will come in the SEC championship game against the Gators. I don't think they have another hard game coming up.
So basically, they should just cruise till that point. That's what I was figuring, but I didn't know. Come ask the man who does know. All right. Well, number 2, yours and Betsy's favorite team, Notre Dame. What I'd like to know is, and you touched on it, what are the chances of them ending up in the ACC championship game? And when they get there, what then?
Yeah, look, I think they're definitely in the ACC championship game. Even if they lose coming up soon, I think they're the kind of team who can potentially have a loss to that unknown that no one expects them to lose to. So every week you need to watch them and make sure that they're winning games, because they're not destroying teams like everyone thinks they should be. They won huge last weekend against the Tigers, so it'd be nice to see them go all the way into that ACC championship game. But I think if they lose that, I think the Gators might take their spot inside the top 4.
A lot on the line with almost every game right now.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 is Ohio State. They've had 3 games. They have looked like everybody thought Ohio State was going to look, right? But that's the rub. Only 3 games. And if I'm not mistaken, this Saturday against Maryland, that is now canceled. So Are they going to have enough games to be considered lately, or are they going to get, a pass?
Yeah, look, earlier in the season, they were talking about the pass mark was 6 games. The teams that have to play 6 games to be part of that Final Four conversation. I think maybe if they play 5, they can be in that conversation still, because they are that strong. But even if they've only got the 5 games, I think they're still making up numbers. So they're so strong on their day that they can go on to win the whole thing easily. But should they be in there if a team like the Gators are at 5 or A&M at 6, who are just outside, who have played 9 games? I don't think that's very fair. However, they're that good, they'll probably get in regardless. So come back.
All right, that's something I'm going to be watching closely, because, man, I'd like to see them in the conversation, But, I mean, like you say, 9 games versus maybe 4, maybe 5. That's double tough. Yeah. All right, now, number 4, Clemson. Of course, the only question I got is, have you seen Elvis lately, and is he going to be at the game? No. Trevor Lawrence, all right? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is he all right? Are they just going to give him a series? I mean, is he back or what?
Yeah, I think he plays some form of the game this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts and he comes on and he probably plays maybe a half of football. I can't remember who they're up against this week, but it can't be anyone too good. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have a 2 or 3 touchdown advantage and then he ends up coming off.
Okay, all right. It'd just be nice to see him back on the field, man. I mean, just really nice to see him on the field.
I think he's hiding because he doesn't want to go into the NFL to be with the New York Jets.
Doesn't want to go to the Jets. It's like, man, put my head down,
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Now, number 5, Texas A&M, 5-1. I don't really have a question about them because they've just been playing good football. They should continue to do well. But number 6, Florida, who you were talking about, as they got that guy Kyle Trask. He's pretty good, and the defense can play, but their running game. In order, you want to be balanced if at all possible. You never know if it's going to be a bad weather game, something like that. Can their running game step up, or does it not really matter?
Look, I don't think it really has to be honest with you. They've got the capability to hit 6 or 7 targets every game all over the park. They've got that many offensive weapons. Trask can just virtually go himself if he needs to.
Right.
Running game's not important for them as such. I know a lot of teams it is, but with him, I don't think he needs it. The kid can just virtually do anything at all. Obviously, it'll all come down to the Alabama game for the SEC title. Texas A&M are fifth. They're the only team that have beaten the Gators this year. I think they went down 41-38. I think that was very late in the game. So unfortunate for them. They're sitting in sixth at the back of A&M at the moment. Obviously, A&M can't go into that top four because they're in the same side of the draw as Alabama, which makes it hard. So I think it's the Gators to lose. I think if they can get a solid win over Alabama in the SEC title game, both those teams will be in that Final Four, maybe at the expense of Ohio State, maybe.
All right, some great info. Thanks for that, Spinksy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Also want to touch on our new favorite team, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, who are still at number 15 there, the highest in the Sun Belt. How teams like Georgia are still there just baffles me. Georgia's at 13 still. I picked Georgia to go the whole way this year, and they haven't. So you have disappointed me, Georgia. You've disappointed me. The Raging Cajuns are back in there. They've won their side of the Sun Belt. They'll be playing in the Sun Belt Championship game, of course, against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. That'll be worth a look too. So we'll check that out. And Auburn's in there as well. But a few games I want to touch on this coming week. It looks like at the moment there's a full slate of games. I've counted 65 games in total. Everyone's back. I think there's only 2 games at the moment been postponed due to COVID. It's still early in the week, whatever date is over here. So we'll see how things go with that. But at the moment, there's a full slate of games on now. A couple of big ones that we're going to touch on this week. Indiana and Ohio State. You said that's now off. So this is a bad look for them again. I was hoping that would be on. Alabama and Kentucky. This is a dicey game for Bama, coming off 2 weeks off, almost 3 weeks off now. Kentucky are a strong enough team to push Bama for a long section of this game. I'm not sure they can hang on all the way, but if Bama mainly only wins by a touchdown or 2, maybe they slip back a bit in that top 4 spots. We'll see how that goes. And shout out to Zeke Zaragoza, the long snapper from Oklahoma State. They've got their rivalry game this weekend against Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to go off this weekend. Number 14 against number 18. If you're in Oklahoma, stay safe, get drunk as hell, but wear a mask. Wear a mask, okay? Stay out there, folks. Look after yourselves. So, all right, guys, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you, Stephen, for coming on the show, mate. Tell the good people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Vanover, and, of course, hang out at Sports Talk Line. You'll always see what's going on there.
Or his address, which is... All right, guys, hop on the Sports Talk Line website. There's posting college football articles up there all the time. The daily news is going up. Might not be daily. It might be every second day. We'll see how I go. Come back next week, guys. Same time, same spot. All right. Hooroo.